Dibble Show. Daily Pickle. Daily Pickle. Daily Pickle. It's a Daily Pickle.
All right. Back on the Rob Dibble Show. Ben Darnell is off. He's in the land of the Amish, in the middle of Indiana. And we hope he has a nice vacation, goes home and sees his family members there. Curt Kaplan from Ones and Twos. Nick Federico's on the video. What's our YouTube channel, Nick?
The Rob Dibble Show on YouTube.
Okay. That's
Write
not
it
hard
down.
to remember.
Write it
down.
Go
Go there.
subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe.
There you go. Let's start with the Red Sox. They lost 9-8. This was a statistical game on offense. Not good for pitchers on either side of this. Gomer, he gave up 4, and then the bullpen gave up a bunch. Houck gave up 4 in 6 innings. He actually settled down. Bullpen gave it up. They ended up losing 9-8 in extra innings. I hate the ghost runner, but nobody cares what I think about that stupidity. But it's a cheap way to get rid of the game and get to the next game, as it went 12 innings last night. But really, I'm more worried and concerned about Tanner Houck. Last couple of outings, he gets named to the All-Star team. This happened to me one year. I got named to the All-Star team, got the crap kicked out of me for a little bit because it's kind of a humbling experience that you don't expect. I don't know if Houck, who a couple of years ago was in and out of the bullpen, was a 5th starter. You go from that to now making the All-Star team this year, goes to the All-Star game, gets beat up a little bit in the All-Star game, comes back, he gets beat up, 10 hits in 6 innings. ERA, not bad, still at 2.7 right now, but I guess Curt, Houck, he's a guy that's got to be really fine. He doesn't throw 98.
Right.
He's got a tailing fastball. He's got great off-speed stuff. To me, I think at times what makes him unhittable is because he's got all arms and legs coming at you.
It is a different delivery, and it hides that ball
unique.
a lot.
It's unique.
It
he
comes
hides
out
the ball.
late.
It seems like the hitters right now are picking up the ball. I hate to say the word tipping because I don't think he's tipping, but I think they're seeing it well because they've made adjustments. Is there something you think that Houck needs to do here moving forward? To me, he's a good strike thrower. Last night, not 53 out of 92.
But I don't want you to throw out the whole mold, like baby in bathwater kind of mentality. Don't change up what was working. Just kind of, I don't know really how to tell you to fine tune it, but you're fine tuning. You're not throwing it out and changing your whole philosophy.
Agreed. I mean, one of the things that makes guys really successful is not listening to a lot of critics and coaches and, taking little tidbits from them and not revamping everything. I remember Sal Romano coming back from the Reds one year. They had moved his hands. They had done a whole bunch. And I'm like, dude, you didn't need to do all that stuff to make it to the major leagues. You certainly don't need to change a whole lot to stay in the major leagues. It's really fine tuning. And in Houck's case, he has a unique delivery where not too many pitching coaches are going to be able to refine him. This is where I think he's spectacular. He's got a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio or close. 114 Ks, 29 walks, impeccable command. Only 6 home runs given up in 123 innings pitched. You don't have to do a whole lot.
Well, yeah. You always talk about this, the extra chances, and a walk is an extra chance.
That's right. And he doesn't give up an awful lot of those. That's the one thing. So let me give you his month by month. And honestly, his June was not as good as his May. His May was spectacular at 2.9. Then he had a tough June at 4.8. But then he rebounded, had a really strong July leading up to the All-Star game. And it was, if you look at his last outing and this outing, 7 earned runs in 7 innings, really, that's 2 of his worst outings were right before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break, so he kind of bookended that. And then you have to go all the way back to June 29th, where he gave up 7 runs against San Diego. But other than that, this guy, man, 2 Ernies, 3 Ernies, 1 Ernie, shutout. I mean, he has been really, really consistent the entire season. So, honestly, I don't change a whole lot at all.
Houck is an interesting guy because I wanted to ask you about this in a broader spectrum, and it's like you get those guys, you're doing well, you're performing as you should in the season, and then you get a couple of bad outings, and you put up a couple, and then where is it to the line of a manager being like, all right, it's your mess, you're mopping it up, we're at least getting our 100 pitches out of you, or we're moving on and we're going to try to win this game?
That's a great point because he threw close to 100 last night at 93. First of all, I look for guys that are like me, and for Houck, he may have never even heard of this guy, but he's from my era. One of the greatest kind of sidewinder, that kind of delivery was Kevin Brown. Had a 93-mile-an-hour, 95-mile-an-hour sinker. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen. He was the first $100 million pitcher with the Dodgers in Major League Baseball, but he signed with the Dodgers, going from the Padres to Dodgers. I go and I look at some of his stuff and compared to my stuff and maybe something that I might have changed. I wasn't a big video guy, but maybe I go back and I look at my game logs and I'm like, okay, well, I was at 70% fastballs or 75% fastballs. Now I'm at 70% off-speed stuff. I mean, maybe there's a sequencing system here that he's changed. And the problem is that the analytics have gotten to the point where they don't take into account guys getting stronger as games go on. They look at like, okay, well, third time through the lineup, this guy's, they're hitting 210 off of him as opposed to they were hitting 125 off him the first two times through the line. That's minuscule. That is such a finite level of, okay, they're just getting a little bit more higher average and maybe a few more hits on me the third time through, but I'm still keeping my team in the game. And in those 6th, 7th, 8th innings, do we need the bullpen coming in all the time to kind of save your bacon? That's another problem where I'm not in this era of taking a guy out after 21 outs, but that's the formula. The formula could be hurting Houck. Houck seems to get stronger like he did last night. He got beat up early, second time through looked great, and then they pull him. So right as he's finding his stuff, maybe he had a bad warm-up. They're in Colorado. It's mile high. It's hard to breathe. He was probably sucking eggs in the first few innings, and then he calmed down. His heart rate went back to slowing down. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why I could say the Colorado outing as opposed to the outing that he had at the end of June, comparably, one was at Fenway, one was at Colorado. Two totally different atmospheres for this guy. So again,
Boston's at sea level.
Yeah, and then you were at Texas facing an all-star lineup when you gave up the 3 Ernies, in one inning of work. Honestly, the all-star game to me is an absolute wash. It's hard to get out of your brain because we're dwellers as pitchers. But for this guy, man, his last 4 outings, really, if you take the A's and the Yankees, 2 outstanding outings for this guy, I could care less about what I did in the All-Star game in Colorado. I throw that out with the bathwater from him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
talking bad about the All-Star game, here we are again.
Yeah. And because mentally people are going to be like, well, geez, you got beat up in the All-Star. Dude, I was in the All-Star game.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It's not going against your club's record.
And I would be like, dude, have you ever been in an All-Star game? I'd be kind of a.
And everybody's good.
Exactly. Everybody's an all-star.
Forget this part,
dude.
Right?
Yeah, look who we gave the home run to.
There you go.
Look who hit the home run off.
Shohei hit a home run off me. Shohei's the best player in baseball. Right? Arguably
not a big
top
knock
3.
Against
no. That's no slight, tip your hat. Dude took me deep.
You got me.
I left one up in the zone. So again, I would take those last couple of outings and be like, shove it, go right back to work again, work on your ground balls to fly ball ratio. That's getting a little bit high. Those are some of the things you could work on. Trade deadlines. I mean, for both teams, you're the Yankees. Number one thing you need to do, Nick, in your eyes, to get better after the All-Star break or after the trade deadline.
Well, we talked a little bit about it earlier. I think just stick with one game plan. Stick with one lineup. Find something that works. Ben Rice, I think you got to roll with him. You know, a lot of the MLB reporters are saying that we're gonna, go all in and try to get Garrett Crochet from the White Sox. Or
that would be a great get
he's
for anybody.
Tied for second in the major leagues. He has 150 strikeouts. I think it's like almost.
He's got the lowest batting average against. I got this from the All-Star game. I'll give them credit because I'm not doing this kind of stupid research. Lowest batting average against four-seam fastball in Major League Baseball.
Wow,
that's a guy that challenges you with a four-seam fastball. You can't hit it.
Another lefty arm we could use. I mean, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. We would have to really unload the farm for him. Probably say goodbye to Jason Dominguez.
All right, you brought this to my attention. You've got, Jemiah Jones is
batting leadoff.
He's your leadoff guy. Then it's Soto Judge. We know them. And then J.D. Davis is your number 4 hitter.
It's not good enough.
No.
It's not.
You got to have more firepower. Then it's Volpe, Torres, Verdugo,
LeMahieu at the bottom.
But who the hell is Narvaez?
Played catcher, I think it was a couple years ago for Pittsburgh.
But he's 1 for 1, man. He's hitting 1,000. We got to stick him right back out there.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's just not good enough for a team that has the expectation to win every single year. And when you haven't won in over a decade, it's becoming a serious problem. Fans can only put up with it so long, and especially for New York fans where that expectation is so high, their patience, we're running on fumes right now as Yankees fans. We can't see these kinds of lineups getting pushed out every night and just, not blink twice.
And it kind of looks like you're not trying.
All right, and let me use this as a distraction. So the distraction topic today, which we haven't talked about, and I'm not really going to address it that much because I don't care if guys Cadillac it or hot dog it or whatever you want to call it, but Soto took 36 seconds to go around the bases yesterday in a home run. And Boone was asked about that by Michael Kay on his show today, and Boone said, listen, there's some things I just have to kind of tune out and let it go. Who cares about the trip around the bases for one of your superstar players? They should be addressing their issues. They've got many issues. Can they address even a couple of them at the trade deadline?
Yeah, you got bigger problems than worrying about a guy who had a solo shot.
Who's having an all-star year.
Yeah, in a game that you ultimately end up winning. That's an irrelevant moment when you look when you're going to look at past it 3 weeks down the road from now. That doesn't matter.
Right.
What matters is your record over the next 3 weeks. And if you're in contention to win the division, if you're in contention still to even get a wild card spot, because we saw Baltimore struggling and they were having their own skid going into the break, conveniently enough for Yankees. But that's a team that I honestly consider as one of the 4 teams in the major leagues this year that has a legitimate shot to hoist the trophy at the end of the year.
All right,
they're not going to keep skidding.
Boston is in it. They're only 7 games out at this point. 7 back in the win column here between the Yankees and the Orioles because both of them have been on a slide. So the Red Sox have been kind of shooting up there on the side, but they've dropped 4 in a row now. And they got swept by the Dodgers, which anybody can get swept by the Dodgers. They're a very good ball club. But then you lose a 12-inning deal to the Rockies. You're in the Rockies. First of all, everybody hates playing in the Rockies. What do you want at the trade deadline as a Red Sox fan?
Wow. That is a very tough question to answer, though, because, again, like we talked before with the whole philosophy, we don't know if we're trying.
Okay, so Whitlock's on the 60-day DL. You definitely need a 5th starter.
You need a 5th.
You got Bayo, Pivetta, Crawford, Houck. If you were to go to the postseason right now, honestly, not the worst rotation.
No, it's so much better. This is like so much better than I could have imagined it being. When I saw those names in March, I was not thinking that you're 7 games out.
Could you use another bat and a middle reliever?
Where are you going to get, and what are you giving up? Golly.
I
don't know the farm system as well as I should. So I don't have the list of prospects of like what.
Let's just say you're not looking in your farm system for help because you got Casas is going to eventually come back. That guy's a hammer. Trevor Story's going to come back. No, I'm just saying not maybe this year. By the end of the year, Casas is back, but Story is not coming back. But they're coming back next year. Right? He can't stay healthy. I mean,
but you're locked in with that deal, so that's not.
Rafaela has come into his own. This guy's not an awful player. He can play center field or shortstop. So I'm not too much worried about him. Duran now is an all-star.
Quick bat, yeah.
Vaughn Grissom has given me nothing to prove that guy is a starter for long-term. Garrett Cooper Bobby Dahlbeck, Ref Snyder, some of these guys. I don't think that's enough to win you a championship.
No.
It's a good regular season lineup. So you still need a bat. That's going to be hard to come by because they're going to want something for it.
I still like Ref Snyder, you know.
I think Ref Snyder's a hell of a player, but he gets exposed when he plays every day. That's the biggest problem about some of these guys. Abreu, decent outfielder, got some decent potential with the power. Hamilton's another guy. You got some guys that are just they're good. They're not great. You don't have like the great players that you had when you were winning championship. Do you see them going out and getting like a Brian McMahon or somebody like that? Ryan McMahon would be a hell of a first baseman for the future for you.
That would be.
And he'd be great with that short porch in right, but you'd have to give something up. And you see him right now because you're in Colorado. So you're scouting him right now.
You're putting me on this roller coaster. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, yeah, we're going to lose that guy. I can't lose that guy.
I'll tell you somebody who my Yankees need. We need a bona fide closer. I'm not sold on Clay Holmes angemore.
Never have been.
He's had way too many opportunities, and he's squandered way too many chances. Now, when he's on, he's on. And he throws a 97-mile-per-hour sinker that's, when it's on, it's almost unhittable, it seems like. However, his biggest problem is when he has to pitch out of the stretch. When people get on, he has a problem walking and giving freebie bases to batters, which Curt was
emphasizing. Can't be walking guys as a closer.
Especially in the ninth inning in these pressure situations where the game's on the line, because a lot of the times the Yankees only have a 1 or 2 run lead. So giving that extra base, you're putting the winning run at bat now. He's at the plate. So we saw it against the Orioles. He gets a little flustered. He can't find the zone. And when those batters get on, throw the whole game plan out the window.
Yeah, right. And God forbid you go into extra innings and you got the ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's some names that you could look at, and I'm going to throw another one in there because they brought it up the other day. Paredes from the Rays. Rosarina is being put out there. You're not getting Vlad Guerrero Jr. The Red Sox don't have enough to get him, and nor do I think the Blue Jays are going to do that. Crochet is a great pitcher. Anybody can use him. He'd be worth 4 prospects for. Lewis Robert is a great name. But this guy has an attitude issue. He reminds me of Verdugo. Even Jazz. What's his
Jazz Chisholm?
Chisholm
with Miami.
Those are guys. Do you want them in your clubhouse? I would have to ask guys that play with these guys. Is he worth going after? But Lewis Robert was an all-star last year. He has fallen back to kind of not really, but again, he's in a bad place, bad team. Nobody wants to play on that team. Nobody wants to win on that team. I'm sure he would love to go there.
And they're trying to move him, and he's gonna have a price tag.
No, he's gonna have a price tag, which again, White Sox are trying to strike, get some prospects. Rays always trying to raid your prospects. Are you willing to give up the future, either one of you guys, to make a trade for one of these guys?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think. I've been saying it to all my fellow Yankees fans. I've said it with you guys. I personally, at this moment in the season, when I see the lineup that gets rolled out there every night for the Yankees, I don't think there's enough available on the market right now to supplement the problems we have.
Right.
It would just be a short Band-Aid. Kind of like the whole Soto operation. He's great. But that was just a temporary Band-Aid that, gave a little bit of hope to the Yankees fans. We started off hot. The first, couple months of the season, we're the best team in baseball, best record in baseball, and then you come crashing back down to earth. There's too many holes in this lineup. Can't situationally hit. Can't close out games. Can't move runners over. If you got a guy on if you have first and second, no outs, the amount of times I've seen us ground into a double play and then strike out with a feeble attempt, the next batter. It just can't happen.
That's a one-dimensional lineup that they had last year.
Yeah.
And when they finished 29th out of 30 teams.
So roll it over, finish the season out, get your wild card spot because you're not going to win the division. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think you have a competitive enough team. See what happens. See how Dominguez looks. Give Wells the starting job behind the plate. Enough with the Trevino rotational nonsense. And then rebuild.
Yeah.
Rebuild. Give the check to Soto and see what